everybody, it's Patrick. It is Tuesday afternoon, and for some reason, for 2 weeks in a row, I am talking about my hair on a Tuesday afternoon. I've gotten a couple of messages from some guys who they consider themselves a little bit older for growing out their hair. And they have reached out to me as a fellow geezer, I guess, somebody who's also older and growing out his hair for the first time, just asking about a couple of things. I'm going to do something unusual during this video. I'm actually going to take a close-up of my hair, specifically the back of my hair. With the videos that I have been recording, for some reason the light in the videos, I use natural light if I'm in my bedroom. I have some lights downstairs in my basement. When I update from that little studio corner I have in my basement, I have a couple of photography lights that I use. Those lights tend to wash out the grays. They just look a little bit more like shiny bits or highlights in my hair. But I do have a tremendous amount of gray in my hair. Not possibly as much as one might expect for my age. I am 46 years old. I have a good amount of hair left on the top of my head for someone who's 46. I do know a lot of guys who are my age, a lot of guys I went to high school with, men in my company who are my age or even a little bit younger who don't have hair left or are completely bald or completely gray. So to have pigment in my hair that keeps it brown somewhat is something that just, it's sort of a genetic thing. But the folks who have contacted me about growing your hair out as an older person have asked what I'm planning on doing about my grays or when I go gray, which is interesting because I already am going gray. I've been going gray for a while. Both of my brothers are almost completely gray. I have an older brother who is 49, a younger brother who is 43, 42 or 43. Both of them have completely gray hair or much more gray than they have of another color. And both of them look fantastic with gray hair. If I had a head of gray hair just like they do, I would be more than happy. So if my hair turns out to look like that when it goes gray, I'll be very happy with it. So for me, I'm going to just continue to let it grow naturally. I have no plans on dyeing it back to brown or dyeing it another color. I have been reading up on care for gray hair. A lot of the information about gray hair is more towards women with gray hair, which for them it says to take care of your hair, you may want to consider a shorter style because gray hair lacking the pigment seems to lose some of the elasticity. It loses some of the shine. It can get a lot drier. And I have noticed that the grays in my hair, my gray hairs are very, very dry. And they tend to fly away. I don't know if you can see up at the top. Let me get closer. Can you see all this little sort of halo effect? That's mostly the gray hairs, the shorter gray hairs. The shorter brown hairs on top of my head tend to just fall flat, whereas the gray hairs curl up on themselves. They seem to have a different texture, although I've read that your hair doesn't change texture. It's just that it's drier, so the natural curl in it might take a little bit more. But I have noticed that it does look significantly different, the gray in my hair, than the brown hair. So some strategies you can have for longer gray hair. One, you may need to condition it more or to add some sort of product to give it more shine. You don't have a lot of shine in gray hair naturally. It doesn't tend to reflect the light as easily. It also can break more easily. So they do recommend more cuts, more health cuts, which I'm really a terrible poster child for that. I still haven't cut my hair, still haven't found a hairdresser. They do recommend that you could dye it, of course. A man or a woman, you could dye your hair. Also, there's something called a gloss or a glaze, where basically you are dyeing your hair without any color. This process infuses your hair with all of the deep conditioners that a colorist would add, but with no color. So you're not actually adding any color, but your hair will feel softer the way that it does, people report, after having dyed it, which if you don't bleach your hair, dyeing is an additive process, so it can add some extra structure and extra softness to your hair from what I've read. The only time I dyed my hair was in the 80s when I was in high school and college, and I dyed it blue or green. Or I did strip it once or twice in a bad attempt to see if I could do blonde, which I have so much red in my hair it just turned orange. So I've never really touched dyeing my hair since then. One other thing that I'm really aware of as an older person who is working in a professional office is that I do try to present myself as professionally as possible. So I tend not to wear my hair down in the office, although I do keep it in fairly good shape. So I think that there would be no problem with it. I just tend to wear it up. I'll wear it in a bun. I also tend to wear a little less casual clothes because I think that sometimes men with longer hair, people think that they're, I don't know, aging hippies or they're not taking care of themselves. So I tend not to try to push the envelope too much with my style at work. At home, I tend to dress very casually. When I'm out and about, I tend to push more the types of things I'll wear. I can be a little bit more experimental, but at the office, I think that I want people to pay more attention to what I'm saying, the work that I'm doing. The hair is a little bit, just a little bit of, my personality that's coming through. I also do my, my bracelets. That's about as much extra personality as I'm putting into my appearance when I'm at the office. But, it's completely up to you how you want to present yourself. But I will say that I have not gotten any comments from anyone who has told me that I'm too old for the hair that I have. I think because I have all of it. And I've gotten a lot of compliments from my coworkers, from my younger coworkers, from older coworkers who really do think that I look good with the hair that I have. I've had a couple of coworkers who made some comments while I was growing out my hair that they said that they didn't like guys with ponytails. And then when I started pulling my hair back, a couple of them actually said that I looked okay. So there you go. Anyway, I don't know if this makes any sense to anybody but me and maybe a couple of the other guys who are, say, over 35 who are growing out their hair, but I just thought that I would put that out there. I'm still working really hard on the play. I just completed 41 pages of paperwork for it and sent a big deposit check to the festival to secure my place, so I'm very excited about that. I hope you have a really good afternoon and a really great week.